Hi everybody, this is Lisa, and it's time again for another Verbling class. I'm in Washington State in the United States, and it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, my time, and during this hour we're going to be doing a reading class, and I posted the link was on the Verbling page, but let me post it now in the Verbling chat. So if you would like to join this class, you can click on the join class button or the get a seat button. Hi Aisha, how are you doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So Aisha, are you a premium member?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you get to make your reservations whenever you want. How are you liking that system? Aisha?
Yeah, give me a minute, I forget.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I have a question for you. I saw there is a new class on Verbing. It's a $10, I think.
Yes, that's a new thing that they're starting, and some teachers are starting to make, it's called courses, actually. Yeah, and so they're asking teachers to make courses that would be interesting to their students, and then set a price, maybe $10, maybe $15, maybe $20. But what a course is going to be is something like a series of videos where I would record videos, maybe explaining something to you, teaching you something, sharing with you something, and you would be able to watch those. You pay your money, and then you get to watch the videos, and then there's like some little quizzes or tests, maybe a little bit of work that you do online. And then there's also Hangouts affiliated with those, so maybe you get a couple of hours of Hangouts also to meet with the teacher who is giving the course. And so yeah, that's a new thing that Verbling is going to start offering more and more. I think there's only 2 right now. There's one course that Dan did, and yeah, and then there's one that Paulino did in Spanish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Will you do that?
Yes, I'm going to do it, but I'm actually going to Hawaii on Monday, so I haven't had time to start creating a course. But
lucky you.
yes, lucky me. I have a vacation. So yeah, I'm going to think about what might be interesting for people. So if you want to give me some ideas, what you would like to practice or learn or study, then I would be willing to create courses based on what people really want to know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can give me some ideas if you'd like.
Okay, I will think about it.
Yeah, cool, great. Okay, hi there, Conrad, how are you? Conrad, are you there? I don't hear you, so maybe you have your microphone muted. And Selma, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you, teacher.
Good. All right, so you're ready to start reading. If you want to join the class at any time, people who are out there watching, if you have a ticket, then you can come into the class. If you don't have any tickets, there are a few ways to get some tickets, but the easiest way is to become a premium member. I think you can also pay now by class, so it's $2 per hour, like per class. Each class is 1 hour long. Or you can pay the premium membership, which is $25 for the whole month, and then you get to make reservations as you wish. Okay, so did I put the link there? Oh yeah, okay, you guys got the link? Conrad, did you get your microphone to work? Conrad, my microphone isn't working. Let me fix it. Okay, Conrad, we'll just start, and we'll get started here. So I chose this article. Actually, this article, I chose it because a lot of people on my Facebook, that are friends of mine on Facebook, were posting it. And so I read it, and I thought it was interesting. I am a mother. I have 3 children, and I don't think you guys have any kids. Is that right? No kids, Aisha?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. And Selma, how about you?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay, but you are a kid and you have parents, and maybe someday you will also be a parent. So this might be interesting to read. And also, of course, in these classes, it's all about practicing our English, learning phrases, learning new words, and really to be considered fluent in any language, of course, it's good to be able to speak about a lot of different topics, and especially also to just understand different topics. So that's why in my reading classes I like to choose a variety of topics, sometimes technology, sometimes science, sometimes culture, sometimes sports even, movies, just because it helps you learn more words that way and learn how we say things, how we talk about things in English, so that you can both learn to understand but also to use and when you're speaking English. Okay? So I think you guys know how it works. This is the title. Have American parents got it all backwards? So backwards means like wrong, basically. Are they doing things wrong or backwards? That's what this author who wrote this article is trying to figure out. The eager new mom offering her insouciant toddler an array of carefully arranged healthy snacks from an ice cube tray, that was me. The always on top of her child's, oops, that's why it's going, okay, always on top of her child's play, parent, intervening during play dates at the first sign of discord, that was me too. Okay, go ahead and read that part, Aisha.
The eager new mom offering her insouciant toddler an array of carefully arranged healthy snacks from an ice cube tray. That was me. The always on top of her children's play parent intervening during play dates at the first sign of discord. That was me too.
Okay. Anybody have an idea what this word is? Insouciant. It's not a very common word. I'm surprised that it's in this article, but what it means is carefree. If somebody is just, doesn't really care. So toddlers are children who are like, usually we call children 2 to 3 years old toddlers. They're toddling when they're first learning how to walk and stuff. They're toddling around. And so she was saying that as a new mom, she was eager. She was really excited. She wanted to give her child, her toddler, who didn't really care about healthiness or anything, but she was trying to give him healthy snacks and doing everything. She was trying to do it the right way. And she was always on top. To be on top of somebody means like hovering around, watching out always. So you can imagine if you go to the playground and you see a bunch of children playing, sometimes there's these moms that are just like standing there watching their kids all the time, just waiting to see if something happens, and then they have to intervene. So that means to like get in the way, go see what's happening, especially if there's any discord. Discord means like if the kids are starting to fight or argue or something's happening, they throw sand at each other or something like that. So that's the kind of mom she was, trying to be really good at giving her kids healthy snacks and being there in case anything happens. We hold some basic truths as self-evident when it comes to good parenting. Our job is to keep our children safe, enable them to fulfill their potential, and make sure they're healthy and happy and thriving. Okay, Conrad, did you get your mic to work? No. Okay, Selma, how about you read that?
We hold some basic truths as self-evident when it comes to good parenting. Our job is to keep our children safe, enable them to fulfill their potential, and make sure they are healthy and happy and thriving.
So some basic truths are self-evident. That means you kind of recognize them yourself. They're obvious, you could say. So as a parent, one of your jobs is to keep your children safe. And it's also to enable, that means to allow them even, to fulfill their potential. That's a common phrase that we talk about when we're talking about people growing up and studying in schools or even in life. You want to reach your potential or fulfill it. That means what is a famous movie star or a dancer or an artist or a business person, successful, or a doctor or something like that. Whatever might happen for you in the future. And this word thriving, we want to make sure they're healthy.
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Alexander. Hi there. Alexander, we're just reading already, so we already started. You could follow along with us. You can open up the document. It's the link is in the VerbLink chat.
Yeah,
Okay. And as we are reading, I'm also going over some of the vocabulary and some of the phrases, the phrasal verbs or expressions that we use. So if you have any questions, anybody can always just cut in and ask me. Okay? Okay. The parent I used to be and the parent I am now both have the same goal, to raise self-reliant, self-assured, successful children. But 12 years of parenting, over 5 years of living on and off in Japan, 2 years of research, investigative trips to Europe and Asia, and dozens of interviews with psychologists, child development experts, sociologists, educators, administrators, and parents in Japan, Korea, China, Finland, Germany, Sweden, France, Spain, Brazil, and elsewhere have taught me that though parents around the world have the same goals, American parents like me, despite our very best intentions, have gotten it all backwards. Uh-oh. Okay, what's going wrong with the parents? All right, Conrad, how is your microphone? Oh,
No.
yay.
Did you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
I
at last, Lisa.
Great.
Nice to listen you again.
Yes, I'm glad to have you in class. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you. Yeah.
Would you like to read?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The parent I used to be and the parent I used to be and the parents I am now both have the same goal: to raise self-reliant, self-assured, successful children. But 12 years of parenting, over 5 years of living on and off in Japan, 2 years of research, investigative trips to Europe and Asia, and dozens of interviews with psychologists, child development experts, sociologists, educators, administrators, and parents in Japan, Korea, China, Finland, Germany, France, Spain, Brazil, and elsewhere. That is very good, elsewhere.
Yeah. Finally.
have taught me that though parents around the world have the same goals, American parents like me, despite our very best intentions, have gotten it all backwards.
Yes. So she herself has been parenting for 12 years, and she's traveled to all these different countries, and I guess she realizes that Americans are doing something wrong, because that's what she means when she says they have gotten it all backwards. It means they've been confused about things. Despite, that word despite we've come across before, it means though. So very good intentions, despite our intentions, we still have not been able to get it right. All right, up here there's a couple of things that are very common when you're reading about education or parenting or raising children, and also just about yourself, your own psychology, is to raise. So raising means when you're growing up, your parents, what they're doing is raising you. So you're growing up and they're educating you, they're feeding you, they're clothing you, they're teaching you things. That's what it means to raise a child. And of course we want to raise them to be self-reliant, so they can rely on yourself, so you know how to get things done. Like, you know, as you grow up, you'll be able to have your own apartment, you can find a job yourself, you can take care of yourself, basically. Self-assured means that you feel okay. You don't have to worry about yourself too much. You feel like, yeah, I can do that. You feel assured. You feel safe with yourself, and you have good self-esteem. And being successful, of course. So she's done all this stuff, and now let's figure out why. It says, we need to let 3-year-olds climb trees and 5-year-olds use knives. Imagine my surprise when I came across a kindergartner in the German...
Lisa?
Yeah. You have a question?
May I ask you one word,
Yes.
the last paragraph?
Uh-huh.
Backwards?
Backwards, yes.
Backwards?
Right. So the word backwards, so this phrase right here is a phrase, have gotten it all backwards. And so what it means is, okay, so when you have the front way, so that if you look at your hand, you have like the front of your hand, the back of your hand, right? And if you're doing something the right way, then you just say you're doing it right, right? You're doing it right. But if you've gotten something backwards, then you're doing it the wrong. It doesn't necessarily mean like you're doing something bad, but you've misunderstood something.
Mm.
Also, you can also use that word, like if you put your t-shirt on and you put it on backwards, then you put the front part of it has the tag. Usually for your t-shirt or your shirt, the tag where it says who made the shirt and what size it is, that tag goes in the back behind your neck. But if you put it on with the tag in the front, then you say you put your t-shirt on backwards, so you put it on the wrong way. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, so that's what she's saying. We have gotten it all backwards. So as parents, we think we're doing something the right way, like, oh, this is going to help my child be successful. And in fact, it's not going to help them be successful. So it's like the opposite. Okay, that's what she's saying. And she's going to explain that more as we go along here. So this is what we need to do. We need to let 3-year-olds climb trees and 5-year-olds use knives. Imagine my surprise when I came across a kindergartner in the German forest whittling away on a stick with a penknife. His teacher, Wolfgang, lightheartedly dismissed my concern. No one's ever lost a finger. Okay. So let's see. Alexander, would you like to read? And hi, Fanik, also. Alexander, is your microphone turned on? Is it unmuted? You have to make sure it's not red. If it's red, then I can't hear you. Mm-hmm. Hello. Hi, Alexander. Okay, I'm going to come back to you because I can't hear you. Your mic is muted, I think. Fanika, do you want to read? Ian?
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
Did you get the link? Did you go already to where we have the Google Meet?
My condition is not well.
Do you want to read?
We need to begin from we need to.
Yes. Great.
We need to let 3-year-old climb trees and 5-year-old use knives. Imagine my surprise when I came across a kindergarten in the German forest waiting away on a stick with a penknife. His teacher, Wolfgang, literally dismissed my concern.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever lost a finger.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah, what she learned was that we need to let 3-year-olds basically take take chances and use knives and things like that. So she's saying that she learned this in a German forest where she saw these little children. A kindergartner is usually around 5 years old, using a knife to whittle a stick. So whittle is when you take a knife and you take a piece of wood or stick and you cut little pieces off of it to maybe sharpen it or to maybe make a little animal or something out of it. Yeah.
I remember when I was in the United States, people don't use the word kindergarten. The people using another word to describe that time of in the school for the kids.
Like,
it's care or nursery.
Well,
Something like that.
That's earlier. Yeah, before kindergarten, we have preschool. We have a preschool or nursery, but that's younger kids. Like a nursery would be for babies. If you have to go to work and you're leaving your baby with somebody else, that would be like a nursery. And then a preschool is usually like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and then when they're about 5, they go to kindergarten.
Oh, so kindergarten is using as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, kindergarten is the first, usually the first grade in school. So we have kindergarten, and then we have first. So kindergarten is first. It's mostly a half day where kids who are like 4, 5, 6, maybe 6, they go and they just play mostly and sing songs, and maybe they learn to read a little bit, or they recognize their numbers and, things like that. And then when they're in first grade, that's when they're really going to school all day long. Yeah.
Lisa, but for example, Emilia wrote in Belgian chat daycare.
Daycare. Yep, that's another name for when it's kind of more like babysitting, when they're basically playing with your kid, but it's not really school. So those are private. Usually, if you have daycare, it's with private people who open up their home or they create a business and it's a daycare center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Sure, you're welcome. Okay, so so she's learning these things because typically in the United States people are afraid to let their children use knives, for example. But she saw this, and his teacher Wolfgang, lightheartedly. That's describing how he was. So he kind of just said, "Oh, no one's ever lost a finger." So for him, it was not scary to have a 5-year-old using a knife, and he knew that he would be okay. So he dismissed her concern. So he didn't really think it was very important. When you dismiss something, you say, "Oh yeah, it's okay, whatever." You don't take it too seriously. All right?
Teacher?
Yes?
Sorry, what was again whittling?
Whittling, yeah. Okay, let me explain. When you are whittling, it means you have a knife in your hand and you have a piece of wood in your other hand, and it's like you're carving. You're moving the wood, you're cutting little pieces of wood, and you're going to make something. So like maybe you're going to make a small figure maybe or something like that. I'm going to show you. Do you see this picture right here? Do you see that in the screen share?
Yes.
So little kid, he was in like a nature class in Germany, and he was using a knife like that to cut pieces of wood, and that's called whittling. And then when you whittle, you can sometimes make things, like you can carve out little dogs or cats, or if you're an artist and you're good, you can make something really cool. That's what you do. You whittle to create something like that. So whittling is the act of using that knife to cut pieces of wood to make something. Okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
So whittling away. So whittling away, that means he was just using that. You can also use, there's an expression in English that says he was whittling away his time, and that means he was wasting his time. He wasn't really doing anything. But in this case, it really is whittling. It really is using the wood and using a knife. So you might hear that in another context. Okay, similarly, Brittany, an American mom, was stunned when she moved her young family to Sweden and saw 3- and 4-year-olds with no adult supervision bicycling down the street, climbing the roofs of playhouses, and scaling tall trees with no adult supervision. The first time she saw a 3-year-old high up in a tree at preschool, she started searching for the teacher to let her know. Then she saw another parent stop and chat with one of the little tree occupants, completely unfazed. It was clear that no one but Brittany was concerned. Okay, Selma?
Okay, teacher. Similarly, Brittany, an American mom, was stunned when she moved her young family to Sweden and saw 3- and 4-year-olds with no adult supervision bicycling down the street, climbing the roofs of playhouses, and scaling tall trees with no adult supervision. The first time she saw a 3-year-old high up in a tree at preschool, she started searching for the teacher to let her know. Then she saw another parent stop and chat with one of the little tree occupants. Completely unfazed, it was clear that no one but Brittany was concerned.
Yeah. So Brittany is the name of the American mom. And she was stunned. That means like she was shocked. Because when she moved to Sweden, there was all these things that young children were doing without adult supervision. So adult supervision is when the adults are watching what the little kids are doing, but no adults were watching these children. The children were climbing the roofs of playhouses, they were climbing up trees, they were riding their bikes on the street, and the adults were not around to watch them. And so she thought she was just shocked and surprised that these young children were able to do that. And it seems like she was the only one that was concerned means worried. Maybe she like that. Whereas the other moms, for example, when she saw this 3-year-old high up in a tree, and she started to look for the teacher to tell the teacher, hey, there's a kid up there, you got to get them down. She started talking to these other parents, and the little tree occupants, so the occupants are the ones who are occupying the tree or in the tree, they were unfazed. That means like they were not concerned. Not concerned. Nobody was worried except for Brittany. So basically this is another idea that in other countries, young children can do more things without always having to be watched by their parents. She says, I think of myself as an open-minded parent, she confided to me. That's Brittany said that. And yet here I was, wanting to tell a child to come down from a tree. Why it's better. Ellen Hansen Sandseter, a Norwegian researcher at Queen Maud University in Norway, has found in her research that the relaxed approach to risk-taking and safety actually keeps our children safer by honing their judgment about what they're capable of. Children are drawn to the things we parents fear. High places, water, wandering far away, dangerous sharp tools. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, Aisha, you want to read all of that part here? Starting with I think of myself?
Yeah. I think of myself as an open-minded parent, she confided to me, and yet here I was, waiting to tell a child to come down from a tree. Why it's better. Ellen Hansen Sandseter, a Norwegian researcher at Queen Maud University in Norway, has found in her research that the relaxed approach to risk-taking and safety actually keeps our children safer by honing their judgment about what they are capable of. Children are drawn to the things we parents fear: high places, weather, wandering far away, dangerous sharp tools.
Yeah. Okay. So she thought of herself as open-minded. Aisha, do you know what open-minded means?
Yeah, so
What?
I have the worst. Someone who are capable to understand things that he is not familiar,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
something
So
like that.
you could say open to new ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you might not know about it, but you'll listen and you'll learn and you're okay with it. But she thought she was like that, like open-minded or relaxed or chill, but then she realized she wasn't compared to the parents in Sweden because she wanted to tell that child to come down from the tree. And so why is it better? So this is what this person who's writing the article, she keeps coming across these things, seeing how other people around the world do them, and then saying why it's better than what Americans are usually doing. So it's better because a relaxed approach, that means, you're not freaking out every time. As a parent, you're not worried, you're not scared about everything your kid tries to do. If you have a relaxed approach to risk taking, so the thing be a little bit dangerous, but your kids are going to be able to do it probably. If you have a relaxed approach, then that's better for the children. And the reason why, it's because they get to hone their judgment about what they're capable of. So they get to know themselves and be able to understand, oh, I can climb that tree, or oh no, that's too tall for me. So they get to find out for themselves what they can or can't do. To hone means to be more precise, to really focus and to know what they can or can't do. Okay? Of course, they're drawn to means they're interested in. Children love to go exploring around, and of course they would like to explore high places, climbing on top of tables and play equipment and things. They like to play with water a lot. They like to go wandering around. That wandering just means looking around with, you don't necessarily know where you're going. You're just looking at everything. And of course they love sharp tools. So a knife is a sharp tool. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm just going over some of the things that help you make sure you understand, but I think that's most of them. If you want me to explain anything, let me know. Or if you want to make a comment, you can also do that. Our instinct is to keep them safe by child-proofing their lives. But the most important safety protection you can give a child, Sandsetter explained when we talked, is to let them take risks. Consider the facts to back up her assertion. Sweden, where children are given this kind of ample freedom to explore, while at the same time benefiting from comprehensive laws that protect their rights and safety, has the lowest rates of child injury in the world. Okay, Alexander, you want to try reading that? You have to turn on your microphone. If you look above your Verbling chat, there's a picture of a microphone. If it's red, then I cannot hear you. It has to be gray for me to hear you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We have another person, Basant. Basant,
Yes.
Hi there. Do you want to read that part?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome.
Sorry. Yeah. Which part? Because I was lost for a minute and I just came back.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to skip you and come back to you, or do you want to read right here from where it starts, our instinct?
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry for that.
No problem.
Our instinct. Okay. 1 minute. Our instinct is to keep them safe by child-proofing their lives. But the most important safety protection you can give a child, Sitter explained when we talked, is to let them take risks. Consider the facts to back up her assertion. Sweden, where children are given these kind of ample freedom to explore, while at the same time benefiting from comprehensive laws that protect their right and safety, has the lowest rate of child injury in the world.
Yeah. Okay, so she's saying that our instinct is what you think in your gut, what you feel really in your gut. It's what you think should happen. Animals have instincts that helps them know where to go to sleep, how to find food, and that type of thing. And so, of course, as parents, we want to keep them safe, and we think we have to proof their lives. That means, like, when you have babies around the house, sometimes you put things out of reach, like glass or something that could break. That's called child proofing, so that they don't get hurt. So a lot of parents in America, they put things over their electrical outlets, where you plug in your TV or something. You cover that up so that the children won't get into there and hurt themselves. You might put stuff up high so they can't get it. That's called child proofing. But she says that actually the best way is to let them take risks. So let them do things that they'll learn from. Maybe a little bit dangerous, but they're not going to kill themselves. So they might get a little hurt or burn their finger a little bit or something. But if you let them do that, then they know what they can do. Consider the facts to back up her assertion. Make an assertion, it's what you say. It's to have them take risks. So that's her assertion. And to give the kids ample freedom. So ample just means lots, or a lot of freedom to explore. And of course, Sweden also has a lot of laws. Comprehensive means it involves a lot of different areas, but lots of laws that help protect children, their rights and their safety and stuff. And so that's better because they don't get hurt as much then if they know their own limits. All right, here's another thing that she learned from another place. Children can go hungry from time to time. In Korea, eating is taught to children as a life skill. And as in most cultures, children are taught it is important to wait out their hunger until it is time for the whole family to sit down together and eat. Koreans do not believe it's healthy to graze or eat alone. And they don't tend to excuse bad behavior, like I do, she says, the author says that, by blaming it on low blood sugar. Instead, children are taught that food is best enjoyed as a shared experience. I'm going to stop there. Okay, let's see. Alexander, did you get your microphone working? Not yet. Okay, let's see, where are we? Conrad? How about you go?
Okay. Children can go hungry from time to time. In Korea, eating is taught to children as a life skill, and as in most cultures. Children are taught it's important to wait out their hunger until it is time for the whole family to sit down together and eat. Koreans do not believe it's healthy to graze or eat alone, and they don't tend to excuse bad behavior, like I do, by blaming it on low blood sugar. Instead, children are taught that food is the best enjoyed as a shared experience.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a life skill. So a life skill is something successful in your life, and they think in Korea that it's good to wait for everybody to come together and eat. They like to sit down. Here he says to graze. So to graze is actually more of a word that is used for cows. Cows are grazing out in the field. That means they're eating the grass just every now and then. You know, maybe they eat a little bit now, then they walk around, and they eat a little bit later. And so that's how some American kids and families eat. They wake up, they have breakfast, a little bit later they have something else to eat, and then they have a snack. And so a lot of times Americans are not hungry all at the same time, so they don't eat dinner together because they've all been eating throughout the day. We call that grazing. And so she's saying that that's not, they believe it's not healthy. And also, I wonder if you understand this part. She says they don't tend to excuse bad behavior like I do by blaming it on low blood sugar. So to tend to do something means that you often do it that way. You tend to do whatever it is, but it means often. So she usually, like another word is use. So she usually excuses her child's bad behavior, like maybe he's having a tantrum or something like that, or yelling or screaming. She usually blames it or he has low blood sugar. So a lot of parents like to say, oh, he's just cranky because he hasn't had any food to eat. And so then they give him something to eat rather than to wait for the child, to have the child wait to have dinner. So that's what she does. She blames, she makes an excuse for him, okay? And because they think that it's a shared experience. Shared experience, eating together is healthier than eating by yourself. She said, it says here, all children eat the same things that adults do, just like they do in most countries in the world with robust food cultures. Ever wonder why ethnic restaurants don't have kids menus? The result? Korean children are incredible eaters. They sit down to tables filled with vegetables of all sorts, broiled fish, meats, spicy pickled cabbage, and healthy grains and soups at every meal. Okay, Selma, and we have another new person. Hi, Amal. Selma, you want to read that one?
Hi.
She can read that, teacher.
Okay. Amal, would you like to read?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see where we are? Where it says all children eat?
Soon I came to your lesson soon, yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I came soon.
Yeah. Do you want to read?
I want to know what are you talking about?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to have Aisha read it, and then in the meantime, you can catch up with us. We're reading an article about different types of parenting practices around the world. So, Aisha, why don't you read, and
Okay,
then
I see that.
You can catch up with us.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. All children eat the same things that adults do, just like they do in most countries in the world with robust food cultures. Ever wonder why ethnic restaurants don't have kids' menus? The result? Korean children are incredible eaters. They sit down to table filled with vegetables of all sorts, boiled fish, meats, spicy pickled cabbage, and healthy grain and soup at every meal.
Yeah. So in America, some people may know this, maybe you don't know this, but a lot of children are what we call, that means that they don't want to eat the stuff that the parents are eating. Like they want to eat pasta all the time, or they want to eat macaroni and cheese, or they want to eat ice cream, or they want to eat cereal, something like that. So that's what they're talking about here, is that's different. So in the United States, a lot of times parents will make a certain meal that they want to eat, and then they'll give their kids something else because the kids don't want to eat what the grown-ups are.
Lisa,
Yeah.
it's common, for example, in the United States, a family eating out at McDonald's restaurants, Burger Kings, or it's now really common.
Yeah, it's very common. Yes.
Oh, that's bad.
Yes. It's very common to eat out. Certainly different people, I mean, not every family, but certainly a lot of what we call mainstream families. Mainstream means just the average American person. Kids go to school, they work, you know, they pick them up after school. They don't have a lot of time. They don't necessarily know how to cook really well. So yeah, they eat out a lot, or they buy stuff and they just warm it up in the microwave or throw it together from a box or a can or something like that. Yeah.
But Lisa, for example, then eating out together, or they are eating out each one to separate?
They eat out together, but a lot of times if you're a parent and you have young kids, you often go to places like McDonald's or places where you know that they have food that the kids will eat. A lot of times if you go out to like a nicer restaurant that has nice fish or meats or, you know, vegetable dishes, a lot of times the kids will say, I don't like that. They don't want to eat it. So they want to eat hamburgers, French fries, pizza, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so why is it better? Let's see, why it's better. In stark contrast to our growing child overweight obesity levels, South Koreans enjoy the lowest obesity rates in the developed world. A closely similar by body index country in the world is Japan, where parents have a similar approach to food. So basically, it's a lot of American children now are becoming overweight because that's how they're eating. So, yeah. Amal, did you want to read that part? Or do you want me to go to Basant? Basant, why don't you read? Basant, are you there? I think your microphone...
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, yeah. My microphone was mute.
Yeah.
What's better in stark contrast to our grown child overweight obesity levels? Is it right? Obesity levels?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. South Koreans enjoy the lowest obesity rate in the developed world, a closely similar by body index country in the world is Japan, where parents have a similar approach to food.
Mm-hmm. Good. So to have a similar approach means that they do it in a similar way or basically the same way. So an approach is in a way that you do something. So instead of keeping children satisfied, we need to fuel their feelings of frustration. The French, as well as many others, believe that routinely giving your child a chance to feel frustration gives him a chance to practice the art of waiting and developing self-control. Gilles, a French father of 2 young boys, told me that frustrating kids is good for them because it teaches them the value of delaying gratification and not always expecting, or worse, demanding that their needs be met right now. Okay. Fanik Yin?
Hi.
Hi.
May I have a try?
Yeah, that's your turn now.
Instead of keeping children satisfied, we need to fuel their feelings of frustration. The French, as well as many others, believe that routinely giving your child a chance to feel frustration gives him a chance to practice the art of waiting and developing self-control. Gilles, a French father of 2 young boys, told me that frustrating kids is good for them because it teaches them the value of delaying gratification and not always expecting, or worse, demanding that their needs be met right now.
Yes, good.
Thank you.
Right. So it's okay if your kids feel frustration, if they're feeling frustrated. I don't know what's going on. I want it now. Like they're upset or something, because if they are, then they develop self-control. So that means they learn how to wait, how to have patience, how to not have tantrums or scream and yell just because they are not getting exactly what they want right now. So that's why we talk about delaying gratification. So gratification means when you get what you want, you feel gratified, you feel good, you feel happy, but sometimes you have to wait, and that's the delay. So if you can learn how to wait, and also not always expect that parents are going to just do exactly what you want them to do right now, then the French, according to this article here, is saying they believe that that's better than being a demanding kind of bratty kind of child who always thinks that they should have everything right now, and if they don't get it, then they whine or cry or throw a tantrum, something like that. So why is this better? So why it's better? Studies show that children who exhibit self-control and the ability to delay gratification enjoy greater future success. Anecdotally, we know that children who don't think they're the center of the universe are a pleasure to be around. Alice Cedar, PhD, a former journalist for Le Figaro, a professor of French culture at Northeastern University, agrees. Living in a group is a skill, she declares, and it's one that the French assiduously cultivate in their kids. Okay, Conrad?
Okay. Why it's better? Studies show that children who exhibit self-control and the ability to delay gratification enjoy greater future success. Anecdotally, we know that children who don't think they are the center of the universe are a pleasure to be around. Alice Cedar, PhD, a former journalist for Le Figaro and a professor of French culture at the Northeastern University, agrees. Living in a group is a skill, she declares, and it's one of the French assiduously cultivate in their kids.
Right. Okay. So,
Good.
yeah, they exhibit. So children who exhibit, that means show self-control and ability. That means they're capable or able to delay gratification. They have future success. Anecdotally, that just means by story. Somebody an anecdote. So by stories that we hear about people, it's not necessarily research, but just stories that we hear. You know, kids who don't think they're the center of the universe, like everything revolves around them, they're nice to be around. They're a pleasure. Pleasure means it's pleasant or nice to be around them. Okay, Aisha, I said Le Figaro. How would you say it?
Now you say it.
Right. I was speaking English.
Yeah, I know.
Le Figaro.
But do you speak French, Lisa, as well?
I'm learning French, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. So anyway, so living in a group is a skill. Of course, that's what we call socializing or socialization. And some cultures think that that's very important to make sure that people can get along. And so the French assiduously, very persistent. They keep working on it with their kids to cultivate, to make it grow in the children, to make sure that they understand that it's important to be able to be around other people and to be friendly and nice and polite and all that. All right, here we go. Conrad in Finland. Children should spend less time in school. Children in Finland go outside to play frequently all day long.
Yeah.
How can you teach when the children are going outside every 45 minutes? A recent American Fulbright grant recipient in Finland who was astonished by how little time the Finns were spending in school, inquired curiously of a teacher at one of the schools she visited. The teacher, in turn, was astonished by the question. I could not teach unless the children went outside every 45 minutes. So is that true, Conrad? In Finland, the kids go outside a lot?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Even if it's cold, huh?
Yeah, of course. Even if it's cold, that's a way to create curiosity and
Sure.
scientist instincts or something like that.
Right, curiosity, yeah, and playfulness, and yeah, I get it. I like that idea. Selma, how about you read about Finland?
Children in Finland go outside to play frequently all day long. How can you teach when the children are going outside every 40 minutes? Recent American Fulbright Grant recipient in Finland, who was astonished by how little time the Finns were spending in school, inquired curiously of a teacher at one of the schools she visited. The teacher, in turn, was astonished by the question. I could not teach unless the children went outside every 40 minutes.
Every 45 minutes, yeah. So this person who was a grant recipient, so she was there like on a scholarship, a Fulbright scholarship, she was astonished or shocked. And she was wondering, how can you teach them anything? They keep going outside to play. And she inquired, that means she asked the question because she was curious. And the teacher just said, I could not teach unless. So she means that they need to go outside, because if they didn't, they probably would be more difficult to teach because they would be fidgeting and restless and wanting to go play. Okay, so we're running out of time. Aisha, why don't you read without me reading? You just go ahead and read this part yourself right here.
Okay. The Finnish model of education includes a late start to academics. Children do not begin any formal academics until they are 7 years old. Frequent breaks for outdoor time, shorter school hours, and more variety of classes than in the US. Equity, not high achievement, is the guiding principle of the Finnish education system.
Yeah. So they don't start academics until later. So the kids go to school and start learning how to read and all that kind of stuff later. They get a lot of breaks to be outside. And they have a lot of variety of classes, not just the same old thing. And their guiding principle, so the whole thing that the thing that they're trying to achieve is not high grades or lots of academic success, but equity, making sure that everyone is learning and growing and knowing how to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important, Lisa, to say that before that don't have any sense, because it's important the family give values and custom, that kind of things.
Yeah. Not leave everything up to the school, but the family.
Yeah, it's no important. No.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, Amal, would you like to read the next one, While We in America?
I listen to your conversation, and I need time to catch you.
Okay. Okay. Fanik, you want to read?
Okay. While we in America preach in mantra of early intervention, shift time of races to teach more formal academics and cut funding to non-academic subjects like art and music. Finnish educators emphasize that learning art, music, home economics, and life skills is essential.
Right. So Americans preach early intervention. Americans nowadays think, oh, they learn how to read when they're 3 or 4, you know. But they show that it's not true, that it's better, and this we're going to read it here. Why it's better. American school children score in the middle of the heap. A heap is a pile or the group on international measures of achievement, especially in science and mathematics. Finnish children with their truncated time, so that means with their they have less time, so shortened time in school, frequently rank among the best in the world. So basically, it's not true that you need to start out even younger. They need to play more, have fun, do art, that type of thing. I think we have time to finish this last one. I don't know if we're going to finish the whole article. Conrad, why don't you read this one about thou shalt spoil thy baby?
Yeah.
Okay. Tomo.
Tomo, a 10-year-old boy in our neighborhood in Japan, was incredibly independent. He had walked to the school on his own since he was 6 years old, just like all Japanese 6 years old do. He always took meticulous care of his belongings when he came to visit us, arranging his shoes just so when he took them off. And he taught my son how to ride the city bus. Tomo was so helpful and responsible that when he'd come over for dinner, he offered to run out to fetch ingredients I needed, helped make the salad and stir-fried noodles. Yet, every night, this competent, self-reliant child went home, took his bath, and fell asleep next to his aunt, who was helping raise him.
Yeah. So basically, she's just telling the story of this young boy who he was very responsible. He did all of these things by himself, and he was very helpful. And he would go fetch means to go get ingredients, and he was very competent. That means capable of doing things. He could do things. In Japan, yes, go ahead.
It's similar in Finland. That is the goal of the education.
Sure, yeah.
Independent students. Yeah.
In Japan, where co-sleeping with babies and kids is common, people are incredulous. That means they can't believe it, that there are countries where parents routinely put their newborns to sleep in a separate room. The Japanese respond to their babies immediately and hold them constantly. While we think of this as spoiling, Japanese think that when babies get their needs met and are loved unconditionally as infants, they more easily become independent and self-assured as they grow. All right. So why is it better? Margaret Keller, a professor at UC Irvine, agrees that there is an intriguing connection between co-sleeping and independent behavior. Many people throw the word independence around without thinking conceptually about what it actually means, she explained. We're anxious for our babies to become independent and hurry them along, starting with independent sleep. But Keller's research has found that co-sleeping children later became more independent and self-reliant than solitary sleepers, dressing themselves or working out problems with their playmates on their own. Okay, well, I think you guys are going to have to finish that on your own. But basically, she's learned a lot of different things, and she says she parents differently than she used to. She's still an American mom. She still does some things that Americans typically do, but she also has learned from her travels and watching how other people around the world parent. So that's pretty cool. And Conrad, thank you for sharing that and confirming that it's true. And
Thank you.
I imagine some of you probably could also share how that might be true in Canada and other places also where you guys live.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions or comments before we end this class?
Very good article, Lisa. I really enjoyed that kind of topics. It's
Yeah,
so
me too.
interesting.
I like that. Yeah, I love learning about how other people do things, because a lot of times we can think that our way is the best way, but
Sure.
maybe it's not. So, yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for coming to class and reading and participating, and I hope to see you again in another class.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.